Okay. Yeah, that
like that.
This might have been the best highlight in all of sports this weekend, honestly.
Amazing.
Ryan Shazier showing off the dance moves at his wedding. It's amazing to see how far he has come, how happy he looks. What an absolutely incredible feel-good story.
When we saw him attempt to walk across the stage at the NFL draft a couple years ago, I was really sad and I was really worried for him. Not about his football career, but about his ability just to do things like this, live a normal life, dance at your wedding. Now to see him do this, it's so great to see. I know. Go ahead, Jim.
I was going to say, and then 2 weeks ago to see him do that box jump, that he's actually in the gym and really getting stronger so that he could do things like that.
This one got me. He's a Fort Lauderdale kid. Met him in high school, went to Ohio State and played. None of us, man, as much we compete, want to see one of our guys out there on the field where they can't help themselves. Man, this is tremendous, Bill, to dance at your wedding. His wife deserves that. His friends, his family deserve that. Man, great moment.
And from everything I've read and heard, there's obviously that woman was his fiance when this happened, and the way she has supported him, stuck by him throughout this entire process, because that's got to be traumatic and scary for the partner involved, seeing your significant other laying prone on the field. So that's awesome. That's a beautiful wedding.
And even though it's a great story off the field, on the field, who have the Steelers missed more than anyone else? Ryan Shazier on defense. All right, time for some stories to start your morning, sponsored by Gillette Clear Gel. Kawhi Leonard dominated Philly yesterday, pouring in 39 points. There were 21 ties and lead changes in this one, so Toronto needed every point. Nick, has Kawhi been the best player in the playoffs?
To me, he has been. He's not averaging quite as many points as Kevin Durant over the entirety of the playoffs, but he's doing it on an insane efficiency, 32 a game, nearly 60% from the field, 50% from three, and not to mention, while Durant's a really good defender, Kawhi's the best perimeter defender in basketball, and he's doing it with no one else playing at an all-star level on his team. To me, Kawhi's been the best guy in the postseason.
And to me, I know Kevin Durant, he's gotten a lot of the attention. I thought he's played spectacular. But, man, for far as free agency, are you better off with KD, or are you better off getting Kawhi? I think Kawhi right now is really presenting a strong case. He's been tremendous in the postseason. I believe he continues to get better.
Topic on tomorrow's show. Last night, the Nuggets were able to even up their series against Portland, 2 games apiece. Jamal Murray went off for 34 points, while Nikola Jokic put up a triple-double. A triple-double. CC, what'd you make of Game 4?
I think they found their superstar in Jamal Murray, and my guy Nick, he's going to keep apologizing to Jokic. How many minutes did he play in the 4 overtime? For all the people out there say he's not in shape.
65 minutes.
Oh, okay,
most minutes anyone's played.
He said, listen, I don't have a great body and everything, but that doesn't mean I'm in great shape. That's what I saw with Jamal. I believe in this series, he's outplayed Dame thus far.
Jamal, in last night's game, 3 times at the end of the game, they foul him. If he misses any one of those free throws, the Blazers can get back in it. He goes 6 of 6 at the line. This, to me, feels like almost a lock that it goes 7 games. These two teams have been so evenly matched through 4 games. It's hard to see either one of them winning the next 2. I feel like much like the Nuggets' first-round series, there's going to be a Game 7 in Denver that will determine who moves on. This has been a great series throughout.
All right, moving on. The Phoenix Suns hired Monty Williams to be their next head coach. Williams was also reportedly in the running for the Lakers vacancy. Nick, with Monty out of the mix, what should the Lakers now do?
Well, they're going to hire Ty Lue, and I wouldn't be surprised if that is announced before we're on the air tomorrow. I think you could hear it today, and if not today, certainly tomorrow. Ty Lue's going to be the next head coach of the Lakers. This was the obvious choice from the beginning. The Lakers seemed to try to steer away from the obvious choice, but Monty Williams then steered towards the Phoenix Suns. So Ty Lue's going to be the answer, and I think he always was the answer.
Yeah, Ty Lue will be the answer. Great opportunity for Monty Williams. He also gets that owner there to commit to 5 years. So for a young coach getting another turn at coaching, a lot of people would say when he got fired in New Orleans, it wasn't fair. So a young team, potential lottery pick. If you look at right now, potentially a team that could surprise people next year, Monty Williams and the Suns. Happy for him.
All right, Cowboys making some news this weekend regarding the status of Ezekiel Elliott's contract extension. Zeke wants an extension sooner rather than later, but COO Stephen Jones said there isn't a timetable for it yet. See, is there any reason not to sign Zeke to an extension this offseason?
No, there's not a... Well, yeah, there's a reason, because you run out of money. And you don't have to. So I was going to say no, but yeah, there are some real legitimate reasons. And those reasons being Dak Prescott. Zeke is a better player, but Dak's more important. And where they come in as far as salary for Dak, you know, it's going to affect how they can move forward and affect Zeke and the rest of that roster. So it's not critical that they do it this year. The pressure was applied externally when Todd Gurley last year signed it. So, and he signed in that period where it was unprecedented. So then it became, wow, Zeke's going to want a contract.
Todd Gurley got it at the same point of his career that Zeke's in now. After the third year as a first-round pick where you have essentially a 5-year contract on the guy. He got his contract 3 years into his career despite having one of those years be a bad year. Zeke has not had a bad year yet. He just finished the third year of his career.
Yeah, so they don't have to do it. What happened with Todd Gurley, and now seeing Todd Gurley, is he going to be 100%? That's a message sent to Zeke and to others. If you're a running back, you better get your money because your days are numbered. We saw Isaiah Crowell with the Raiders. He already tore his Achilles this offseason. He was taking the chance to go there for a year. So in these OTAs, in these off-season workouts, you can still get hurt. So it becomes very important that the player, but Dallas and how they do things, and Jerry, sometimes they open their mouth and it puts more pressure on them because they didn't have to say anything.
Well, and this is one of the reasons that I've been so against their public comments about Dak. Because you've set yourself up to where you are going to pay Dak this offseason. And it is so hard to make the argument to Zeke and his representation. Wait, we were drafting the same draft class. I have been clearly one of the 3 or 4 best in the league at my position. He has not been at his. You're paying him. We know they're almost assuredly going to have to pay Amari. Dak or Zeke and his representation say he's given you 8 good games. I've given you 40 good games or 44 good games plus the playoffs. Like, how am I not getting paid? But the argument against paying him is the cautionary tale of Todd Gurley from the team's perspective, which is a guy can look like an MVP. And at that position, now I know Todd Gurley dealt with a knee injury in college, and that might be rearing its head now in the pros. But at that position, the career spans are so short. And if you're the Cowboys, the argument against paying Zeke is a financial one. So wait, we've got him for this year super cheap. We would have him for next year at the 5th-year option.
Yep.
And unlike the quarterback position, the franchise tag for running backs is a bargain.
It's a good number.
Because there's not 5 running backs making big money. So we would have him for the next 3 years, guaranteed cheaply. A 4th year, if we wanted to franchise tag him a second time, that would then get expensive. But how long do we think a running back's career is? We're now talking about year 6 and into year 7. So if they hadn't already let the horse out of the barn, so to speak, since we're talking the Cowboys on, we're going to pay everybody. Everybody's getting paid. We love our team. This is our core. Then I don't necessarily love how the Steelers do business always, but the Steelers wouldn't have been talking about this. No. The Patriots wouldn't have been talking about this. Why would we be talking about your extension when you're in just finished year 3 and of essentially a 5-year contract? So
right, and even though you were drafted the same year as Dak was not the first rounder, so he doesn't have that option.
Yep.
So it is important that they get him signed.
Dak's in a different position. Dak's 4-year contract's a real 4-year contract because he's not a first-round pick.
I was going to say, so just because I don't fully understand, are his hands tied? Are Zeke's hands tied as far as any other options he has if they decide to have that extra option and then to franchise tag him?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's nothing he can do. There's nothing he can do. He can verbalize it, but he's just basically saying, the people say, oh, we're going to give you some money. He said, oh, I want it earlier than later. So it's the Cowboys. They help fuel this conversation.
The Cowboys, to me, have enormous leverage in this spot because all Zeke can do is not show up. And that's under the new CBA, starting training camp, that's $32,000 a day. That racks up. And Zeke's a guy who hasn't gotten that big payday yet. Right. That's real money that starts racking up. And so I think they will pay Zeke. But again, like many things the Cowboys do, it's not necessarily how I would run the business.
All right, let's get back to the NBA now. It's been about a month since Magic Johnson stepped down as the Lakers president.